Good evening. My name is Technical Sergeant Ishmael Dixon, and today I will be giving my presentation on leadership. So for my project, I decided to use an experience that happened in my most recent employment. So while working for Special Operations Command Europe, I was assigned to the JMOC office, also known as the Joint Movement Operations Cell. So on one awesome Thursday evening, our JMOC chief came into the office to let us know that we had been tasked with coordinating and executing short-term. The goal of this mission was to coordinate movement for naval and army contingency response forces locations within Europe. Each member in our office was responsible for working our components for specifics and so here you can see our team layout. Mr. Barnes was our JMOC chief. He functioned as the manager. Sergeant First Class O'Brien was our JMOC NCOIC. He functioned as the team lead. And team members were Master Sergeant Stubbs, Master Sergeant Miller, and myself, technical. So the team roles and responsibilities. So our component transportation members, those were the junior level NCLs for the NSW in our Army unit. So they were the ones who initiated the load plans and hazardous diplomatic clearances, also known as HAZDIPs, for all the required cargo and the passenger rosters. So those individuals were the ones that were SMEs for the cargo and the equipment. So they would, make sure that the right cargo was serviceable items. Once they had all of their work done, they would give all of the documentation to the cargo movement CL, who functioned as the advancer. So this individual was the E7, so Sergeant First Class, Army side, and then Chief Petty Officer for the Navy side. So these individuals reviewed the items from the members and ensured accuracy. So once everything was completed and verified, the component movement NCO would send all of the documentations to the JMOC office. Once the documentations gets to the JMOC level, the area porter and the TMO, they function as the refiners for the office. So they review all of the information from the components. They would note anything that was incorrect or didn't seem justified. And then they were in that constant communication with the movement NCOs. And once everything was agreed upon, they would schedule what was called a JI, a joint inspection, to ensure that all of the cargo was properly prepared and airworthy. Then we get down to myself. As a JMOC log planner, I was the executor for the office. So I was responsible for doing that final review of all the documents to ensure that they were in accordance with the joint TIFIT LOI for the Yukon Theater. So once everything was verified and correct, data into a system called JOPS, Joint Planning and Execution System, and submitted everything to Combatant Commander for final validation and aircraft scheduling. Our JMOC NCOIC, he actually was a flexor at times. So he didn't have any direct tasks, but he mostly jumped in and out of the process. When we had any issues, he would, come in there and give his expertise and checked our progress. And then if there were any issues that couldn't be resolved between the movement NCO and our office, he would step in and resolve that. When it comes to diversity, our team was we had a little bit of everything. So we had both Army and Air Force, male and females, African American, Hispanics. We had active and reserve members. So each member was treated with respect. There was no issues in the office. The chiefs and the leaders were sensitive to our needs. So the environment was just always friendly. Everybody was able to interact effectively to achieve our mission. When it came to leadership and management, our manager was the JMOC chief. He was the one that received the task, and he informed us that we had 2 days to complete our required actions for the movement. As a manager, he determined the end goal, the steps we should take, He analyzed all of the resources to include the airlift aircrafts. He determined that it would be more efficient if we used 17s, that we could maximize cargo and passenger space for mission success. So he planned the work, he set the deadlines, ensured that the budget was maintained. I want to say that the budget we received for those two movements were about $500,000. So he controlled the office power. So he was the final authority for our office of all matters. Then our leader was that JMOC NCOIC. He was the one that would come in and check on us periodically. He would provide feedback on our performance, let us know if anything could have been done better. Definitely supported the team as a flexor. If anyone had a doctor's appointment or anything, he would step in and help fill our role until we were able to accomplish our positions. Kept the team on track, constantly checking in, made corrections as needed. He had excellent people skills. Um, he would ensure that we would take our lunches, and many times we would try to work through lunch. He would make us get out of the office, go have that time. So when we came back, we were refreshed. His actions led to increased morale, motivation, and the productivity of our office. So during our project, these some of the concepts that we used. So we did use the project management triangle. The scope, we had 2 days to get those courses in place for the POTUS mission. Um, the time, what was that, 2 days, apologies, and the scope was the POTUS mission itself. And then the cost was to keep the missions 100,000. So the planning phases, we worked with those components and planned out on how everything was going to go. We submitted a validation to the combatant and do our planning. During our execution phase, when the planes landed, the JIers had all the cargo and stuff prepped. During execution, there was no hiccups or mission delays as a result of the proper planning. During the monitoring progress phase, I use a system called GDSS, also known as G2. So I track the aircraft from start to finish, and I brief leadership on the statuses on an hourly basis. And then once the mission was complete and the plane landed where they needed to be, had those people in place, we were able to complete the mission and accomplish it in a timely manner. And then, of course, we gave great quality because there were no missions. POTUS was happy. So in conclusion, I just think it's amazing that a lot of these leadership and management principles that are used constantly that we don't even realize it until you see it in black and white, and it's quite awesome. The only word I can think of, how every team member plays their parts, and you learn that there's refiners and then other tasks out there. So without all of these, the mission wouldn't happen. So I'm going to keep learning and trying to use better my Air Force career. Thank you for listening to me and hope you have a great day.